Well, one ranch family's quest to help cattlemen build better cow herds is a journey that's been evolving for the past 60 years. And now the cattle operation is focused on impactful changes that could help sustain the cattle industry for the next 60 years. Michelle Rook travels to South Dakota and introduces us to the Jorgensen Land and Cattle.
Here at Jorgensen Land and Cattle at Ideal, South Dakota, their success revolves around their unique and top-tier business model, which includes livestock, soils, and wildlife. But each of those pillars revolves around conservation.
It starts with their 12,000 acres of cropland, which has been 100% no-till since 1991. Chief Agronomy Officer Brian Jorgensen says the initial goal was time and labor savings.
Then we started seeing structural and physical changes happen in that soil system,
including increasing organic matter by 1 to 2%, which aids in soil infiltration.
And when you got those big 2-3 inch rains, the water wasn't running off and causing gully washes. It was actually soaking in and being stored by the profile for the use of the crops later down the road.
Another key to soil health was diversifying their rotations to mimic Mother Nature.
So we have about a 5 to 6 year rotation that will do like 2 years of a cereal grain, 2 years of a row crop, and then maybe a soybean or an alfalfa, and then back to a spring grain.
Plus, they follow any crop they can with a diverse cover crop mix.
The cover crop is important in that it stretches the amount of time that we have a living root in that system.
He firmly believes, though, the secret to making cover crops work is having livestock.
They're going to cycle the nutrients out there. They're going to be able to consume any of the carbon that we have out there.
That's key when you're feeding the largest Angus bull herd in the country. However, the same soil health principles apply to grasslands. So CEO Nick Jorgensen says 7 years ago they adopted rotational grazing for their cow herd.
It's been a growing focus for us that I think really has made a measurable difference in our pasture land's ability to carry cows and be resilient, in times of drought or other stress like that.
Jorgensens are also leveraging technology to save labor and costs with virtual fencing.
We can get very granular about where the cattle graze, when they graze there. And at the same time, we know where they are all the time, and we don't have to put infrastructure out there.
Plus, they compost all their manure from the feed yard.
So we've got a more spreadable, better product to spread out on our soil.
The third pillar of their business is wildlife.
Where we're standing right now is the Lazy J Grand Lodge, which we've had since 2012. It's basically a hunting lodge.
We do guided pheasant hunts and weddings and things like that, and we're actually in the middle of developing a golf course here.
And their conservation practices help them provide habitat for the pheasants, but they also utilize cover crops.
It creates really good habitat for them in the fall that provides a food source and a cover source that they wouldn't have otherwise.
This agritainment business has helped them diversify and spread their risk, but at the core is still their desire to preserve these resources for the future.
Conservation is baked into just about everything we do here at Jorgensen Land and Cattle.
Producers got to see that firsthand on the Trust in Beef Sustainable Ranchers Tour.
They measure the carbon that they're hauling into the feed yard and the carbon that they got to haul back out of the feed yard back to where it came from to be able to sustain it. Because if you continually haul off the nutrients and the products off of that, then your land deteriorates.
Participants also got to see Jorgensen's cattle handling and vaccine protocols.
If you have sick cattle or you have cattle that have a lot of parasites, you're going to utilize more resources than you need to get the same amount of gains.
And Jorgensens rely on a trusted financial partner that understands their sustainability journey.
That return on investment is not just going to happen immediately, it's going to take time. So it might be some zero interest lending or some other programs there. We can help refer them to government programs or also maybe some third-party assistance as well.
For producers just getting started, there are various partners that can provide financial and educational resources plus data.
That can allow ranchers to understand more about their soils, their water, their animals, their locations, all these different pieces. And so we provide all those tools as part of our program free for the ranchers so they can really build a robust and really optimize their grazing programs.
Ducks Unlimited has also helped producers conserve 1 million acres of wetlands and grasslands, which are habitat for ducks.
The work that we do is often helping them with grazing systems. We do cost share on fence and water structures. We help with cover crops. That'll be helpful with forage at other times of the year for ranchers, and also helps with water quality.
All this helps producers reach broader sustainability goals set by the food chain.
As high choice or prime, that sustainability issue needs to start sooner rather than later in, of course, your genetics and your feed routines. That's the message I send to our producer all the time.
To be environmentally sound, socially acceptable, and financially viable. But what it really means is, when it comes at the producer level, it just comes down to better ranching. Continually improving your operation.
And leaving it better for the next generation. I'm Michelle Rook for U.S. Farm Report.
Thanks, Michelle. And there's one more stop left on the Sustainable Ranchers Tour. That's September 11th and 12th at Black Leg Ranch in McKenzie, North Dakota. All right, when we come back, Canadian railroads are up and running again, but the labor battle may be far from over. A glimpse of Ag Around the World is next.